Here's some bad news. The TSA is not as safe as we think they are making us. The TSA failed to detect weapons, bombs during most screening tests. Investigators found screeners mistest weapons and bombs at baggage checkpoints more often than not. A few more details on this. In a classified briefing, members of the House Homeland Security Committee learned that more than 70% of the time, undercover Department of Homeland Security investigators were able to get through TSA checkpoints with mock knives, guns, and explosives. But hey, that is surprisingly an improvement because just 2 years ago, they found that was a 95% test failure. So yay to that, 70%. All right. The Office of Inspector General has made 8 classified recommendations based on the undercover operation. In a statement, the TSA said they took the OIG findings very seriously and are implementing measures that will improve screening effectiveness at checkpoints. However, these measures are turning out to be incredibly costly and expensive, and it might not be a cost that the TSA can afford right now. What is happening? Members of Congress and the TSA want to replace their old scanners with new CT scanners, which use high-powered algorithms to detect explosives. But the rollout is slow, and again, like I said, it's incredibly expensive. So over the summer, the TSA launched a pilot program with the new CT scanners, which was still a year behind schedule. Last week, they announced an additional $4 million investment in the technology. Also worth noting is that American Airlines, if you're looking to book a flight for the holidays, has actually bought some of these machines to try and speed up the deployment. But basically, the core of this story is that TSA is not as making us as safe as we thought. This is really what people are. Look,
if you've ever had an interaction.
Hasan, listen to me before I toss to you.
Sorry.
What I'm saying is that there is this thing called security theater. We perceive that we are more safe than we actually are. It's actually not very cost effective whatsoever, but you feel a little bit safer. But now to have hard data that says, hey, I'm happy that you feel safer and that those machines that are incredibly clunky and slow down everyone's boarding process don't actually do shit for you. I want to get a response now, Hasan.
I have so many thoughts.
Okay,
because this is something that I've known for some time now, and you would too if you've ever traveled domestically or internationally and you've ever had a single experience, just one, with a TSA agent. You already know that they're woefully underprepared for a terror attack or even finding anything. Right. I think it's just, and by the way, I love the high-powered algorithm, which means like stop every brown person. That's what that means. That's literally that's the algorithm. They shouldn't have paid 75 or whatever amount of millions of dollars that they spend on it. I don't know how much money they spend, but they definitely have a bomb-ass IG account, and you guys should check that out. It's a bunch of fake shit that they have on there. There's no way. They're like, oh, these are our findings, and it's like an orc knife the size of this. Like no one's fucking taking that.
I don't know. Are you saying that the TSA is lying on Instagram? I will not. Look, it's one thing to allow all these weapons through. When you start telling me that their Instagram account is counterfeited, I think that this is an organization that has huge problems, obviously, but the amount that they stop and search me, I think, is a reflection that they are dedicated to doing something. I don't know what. I literally haven't
groping you.
I mean, there must be something about me. I look shifty, but if all of us go through, as you say, we have any interaction with them, they seem pretty determined and focused. I'm unclear really as to where the failing is. Is it technological?
Well, look, honestly, what I was thinking about when I was reading through the story is the Brussels attacks, is because that took place at the check-in where there is really not a lot of security. And so we look at TSAs like they are the gatekeepers of security. And I absolutely experience that feeling of security theater in the sense I do feel safer when I've gone through this checkpoint. Now I am totally safe, but forget all the other places that there could be that terrorists are like, oh, they're all focusing their attention on this, and now I'm going to focus my attention over here. It's all just sort of diversion techniques. We're really none the safer. I knew that when I got pulled over for my tampons when I was traveling to London one time, and they literally took out all my tampons. They're like, what is this? I'm like, it's candy. What do you think it is?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's guns. It's weapons.
Like, if we don't use this, what is this thing?
Final thought, Mark.
When they're letting 70% through the checkpoints, that sounds to me like the technology.
Grenades, Mark. They are literally in these findings. They found that grenades could be easily smuggled in through that fucking checkpoint. The only deterrent that TSA has in combating terrorism is making it as shitty as possible to fucking travel in America. It makes me so angry.
It is awful.
If you like the Young Turks, you'll love Young Turks membership. TYTnetwork.com/join.